What is up? What's going on, guys? Trizzle here, tuning in, bringing you guys another great 3-star tutorial. Today, we are going to be bringing you guys one of the strongest Town Hall 9 raids, BoGoLaLo. A little bit of a mouthful there, guys, but with this particular army, you're going to be using bowlers in the CC, basically with a shattered Laloon. Very quickly, before we get into the attacks, guys, I just wanted to show you the composition that you will primarily want to be using. It's going to be 2 golems, 2 hounds. The loons, you're going to want to bring at least 14. I feel that the more loons, the better. You're going to want to bring at least 4 to 5 wizards to make sure that funnel is nice and wide. And if you don't have the ability to plan ahead of time, you'll want to bring the 3 wallbreakers, so that way you can get your kill squad into the core. If you're in war and you can plan ahead of time and you can see, okay, well, I don't need the wallbreakers, then you can just go ahead and bring some extra loons and just give yourself a little bit more ammo on the back end. So it's going to be 3 wallbreakers, 14 loons, 6 wizards, 2 golems, and 2 lava hounds. And that's going to be if you can plan for the attack, the wall breakers being the variable there, along with the spells you'll be bringing, which would be 1 heal spell, 1 raid spell, 1 jump spell, 3 haste spells, followed by a CC poison spell. Alright, so very important. As you guys see, the whole main attraction of this attack would be the CC bowlers, so we can't forget them. That's going to be the main thing that holds this attack together. Of course, your main goal on this is going to be to take out basically a ton of air defense and then do a back-end Laloon. With this particular army, again, it's extremely strong, but as you guys all know, when it comes to any 3-star army, it's all about those raid objectives. So let's go ahead and get this started. Let me go ahead and show you guys showcase a couple attacks that really breaks it down and shows you guys the essentials of being able to 3-star with this army. Now, first things first, guys, raid objective number 1. Most important thing is going to be selecting the correct base to attack. I know there's a lot of armies out there that may fit in the category of a one-size-fits-all. However, this really isn't one of those raids. This raid can be compared to a GoBoLaLo in the sense that it requires certain elements when you're looking at the base. That number 1 thing is going to be clustered air defenses, guys. You need to be able to have your kill squad and those bowlers be able to take out as many of the air defense if possible. Your main goal is going to be to, again, clear out that entire core and use your Laloon on the back end. So raid objective number 1 is going to be to select the correct base, and you're going to be looking for the clustered air defense. Raid objective number 2, guys, funnel, funnel, funnel. It's so important that you set up the funnel correctly. You need to make sure that you're mapping out where you're dropping your golems, where the defenses will be targeting those golems, so that way you can get a fairly decent spread on your wizards. And make sure that you allow a wide enough break in all the trash buildings to be able to not make those bowlers go around the base, which can happen a lot if you're not careful. The second part of that is going to be to make sure you're utilizing your jump spell in a good spot. One of the things that I try to do before the attack begins is look and see where I'm going to be using my jump spell. That way I already know ahead of time what compartments I'm going to be able to access, and how I would probably best manage my spells. So to finish up raid objective number 2, make sure you're dropping that jump spell in a good spot. Raid objective number 3, guys, as you go into the core, when you access where you need to go with your jump spell. Obviously the goal is going to be to take out at least 2 to 3 air defense if possible, along with at least one, if not both, xbows if they are air targeting xbows. So very important, because we're only going to be bringing 2 hounds with this particular army. You definitely have to be careful, because if you don't take out those particular objectives, then it will not allow you to have enough tank on the back end to take out the correct defenses. Excuse me. So after that, guys, raid objective number 4 is going to be how you drop your rage and your heal spell for the kill squad. Generally speaking, you're going to want to drop your rage spell as your troops go into the core, dropping it a little bit more shallow. That way the bowlers can best take advantage of it. And then the heal is either going to be pretty much right over the rage spell or a little bit more towards the core of the base. So that way, as the bowlers step up, they can take the advantage of getting healed up after being under fire for a little bit. So that's it for raid objective number 4. Is going to be to rage into the core as well as healing, dropping that heal spell very close over the rage or a little bit further into the core of the base. Raid objective number 5, guys. Once you've taken out the 2 air defense, the xbows, whatever you got to take out, you're going to be basically doing a surgical deployment for your Laloon. Because you are only going to be left with 1, if not 2 air defense, what you'll want to do is drop 1 hound per air defense if for some reason you only took out 2 AD, or if you were able to take out all 3, then obviously you'll drop them wide in a wide manner, so that way they can tank as the loons approach that last remaining air defense. In this particular raid, I believe 2 of the air defense was left up, so I'll be able to show you guys that. But that is raid objective number 5, guys. Making sure that you do your surgical Laloon, 1 hound per air defense if you have 2 air defense left remaining. If you have 1 air defense left remaining after your kill squad, that will simply be the remaining 2 hounds that you have. And that'll bring us to more or less one of the final raid objectives with BoGoLaLo, and that's going to be your spell deployment. One of the things that I have noticed is the fact that with this particular spell composition, as opposed to utilizing rage spells, with rage spells you can actually use them a little bit more into the core of the base. You want to almost use them in a manner where you're anticipating where the loons will be going. However, with the haste spells, it's a little bit different. In order to use the haste spells correctly, you don't want to drop them as much into the core as you would a rage spell. You want to be able to get the speed boost to bring the loons into the action as soon as possible, and as such you're going to want to almost drop them more shallow than you would a normal raid spell, because again they're not getting that attack boost. So with all those things combined, guys, just go ahead and hit play on this attack and we'll be able to walk through it. So from there, I just start my golems, then a fairly wide spread on the wizards, making sure that you leave that middle open if needs be. Once you drop your wall breakers, on this particular one a Tesla did pop that I was not expecting, so I had to do some readjusting. Make sure that you're delaying the release of your king. You always want to make sure the golems make their way into the base, so then you drop your king, followed by a late release on the bowlers. As you see here, guys, I rage into the core, basically having the heal spell close by, and then from there I was just a little bit more patient just because of how the troops ended up flowing in the particular attack. It actually forced me to wait a little bit, so that way the rest of the kill squad could make their way into that other compartment. From there, I dropped my 1 hound, followed by my surgical loons, using that haste spell to speed the loons into the defense as opposed to being right over the defense. And then as it processes the left side of the base, then you release the other hound, followed by your surgical loons. I always try to save at least 1 or 2 loons, guys, I know it's very hard, you know, because you're sitting there, you want to take out the base, and if something's not looking right or something went wrong, obviously use your troops. Don't save troops for no reason. But from a cleanup standpoint, especially in war, you definitely want to make sure that you're not giving up a successful raid just because, you know, you're a little bit loon happy. Sometimes you can really wreck a base. I mean, it's actually possible that the base design was so poor that you can take out all 4 air defense. And when something like that happens, you know, almost no hounds will pop. Even though you only have 2 hounds, you know, it will still more than likely end up, you know, with them not popping. And without those lava pups, it's a lot harder to 3-star, you know, with the Laloon variation. So very important, guys. Really strong raid. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys basically another attack that was in our last war with one of my lower accounts. Now, I will say that this attack was, I wouldn't say it was funky, but because of the base design, it definitely was interesting, to say the least. We were able to win this war, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to teach you guys how to 3-star with BoGoLaLo. Now, of course, when you're doing a war attack, it's much easier because you're able to plan. You don't have, you know, just the 30 seconds ahead of the attack like you would when you're trophy pushing. So as such, you really want to take advantage of that ability to plan. Now, we spoke about the raid objectives, guys, and that's always going to be your go-to. You always want to go to those raid objectives because that is what will allow you to apply what you've learned and apply that knowledge, apply that experience to any base that you'll find. So again, number 1, you know, selecting the right base. As we saw in this particular base, the air defense is clustered, and that really allows for, you know, the overall success. Now, because of where the queen is located, it's very important that when you attack, that you attack in a manner that will allow you to take out the queen, and it's not as a direct attack like it would be in Shattered Laloon. However, the queen is very much going to need to die, you know, while your kill squad is doing their thing. So I do apologize, guys. That should I'm gonna kind of adjust the raid objectives as you take out the troops in the core with your raid objective number 3. That's also going to be to take out the archer queen as well. So starting from the beginning, we have raid objective number 1. Selecting the correct base, making sure you're looking for the clustered air defense. Objective number 2, make sure you set up the funnel correctly. Be mindful of where you need to place your jump spell, how you're dropping your wizards, so that way your bowlers don't go on too much of a walk. Raid objective number 3, that's going to be to take out anywhere from 2 to 3 air defense, the archer queen, as well as 1 if not 2 xbows with your kill squad. Raid objective number 4, you're going to want to rage into the core more or less. The goal here is to rage your bowlers as well as your king and kill squad, so that way they can take out the core and the air defense. And then again, you're going to want to drop that heal slightly ahead of the rage, or more or less right over it. That way you can heal up those bowlers and make the most out of them. Raid objective number 5, making sure that you're looking at the remaining air defense. If 2 air defense were still up, it's going to be 1 hound per air defense, followed by your surgical looning. And raid objective number 6 is making sure that when you drop those haste spells, that you're not dropping them too far into the core. You want to get a nice shallow drop, so that way you can speed the loons into the action. That way they can take out what they need to take care of. Alright, so let's go ahead and start this raid. And this raid again was a little bit funky just because of the split in the base design, but it was still clutch, still ended up winning us the war. So here we have the attack coming in from the top right hand side, deploying the golem, followed by the wizards to start the funnel, and then here comes the other golem. Ends up deciding to go a little bit further down, which is okay, because I definitely need to break the building, the trash ring down there at the bottom. So once that's done, I'm sitting here looking at, okay, where is it going to be best to drop my jump spell? From there, I realized that with where the golems were, it's going to be very important to access that air defense. So after doing that, I was able to drop the bowlers, and because of that, the kill squad does end up funneling into that channel. Under rage, they end up taking out the archer queen. From there, they work their way into that compartment, take out that xbow, and then they continue funneling into the core, where they are able to take out the air defense, and it goes from 0 to hero. Once the air defense is taken out, it's pretty much going to be smooth sailing, because as the golems come in, they tank that xbow, and then from there, I drop my hound up at the top, followed by surgical looning, making sure that I drop 2 loons per defense, and then followed up by that second hound, circle around with those loons, nice shallow drop on the haste spells, making sure that I save those 2 loons for that mini Tesla farm down there at the bottom. So as you guys can see, this attack is very, very strong, very, very powerful, and the strength of this particular raid comes in the correct base selection. If you do find bases where the air defense is a little bit further spaced or further spread out, you do not want to use this army, because that extra hound that you give up in that CC in place of the bowlers is going to be needed. You will need the tankage. So I definitely recommend that you only use this attack on bases with clustered air defense. And if you can do that, you will be a boss, guys. So just wanted to show you guys how strong this army is. It is really one of the stronger Town Hall 9 attacks, but it all starts with selecting the correct base, making sure you get that funnel down, making sure that you're taking out at least 2 to 3 air defense, followed by the archer queen and an xbow, making sure you rage your bowlers and kill squad into the core, and using that heal spell to keep up the kill squad and bowlers just a little bit longer. Then making sure that you drop 1 hound per air defense. You shouldn't have more than 2 air defense up once your kill squad does their thing, followed by surgical looning, and then making sure that when you deploy those haste spells that you're dropping them a little bit more shallow than you would a raid spell, so that way you can make the most out of it. So that's pretty much the raid objectives, guys, but I definitely wanted to show you guys how to get it done with BoGoLaLo here at Town Hall 9. And as you can see, my heroes aren't extremely high. Granted, I do have a level 16 queen now. That, in my opinion, isn't very high when you compare it to what Town Hall 9 can actually upgrade their max heroes to, which is level 30. Alright, so really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure that you stay tuned. Keep watching the rest of the video. Trizzle tuning out, and you have a great day.